Hi everyone, welcome to Arty Game Casting. We've finally reached episode 2. Yes indeed, we made it. We've officially made it to 2 episodes. I probably can die happy now. If you're wondering right at this very moment why you've got tears in your eyes and your ears are hearing what sounds like the music of angels, it's probably because you're listening to Chances, a song I found on the free YouTube library, which assures me is jazzy, bluesy, and a little bit inspirational, and that's what I want you to get out of this episode today. Some inspiration. So, what, you ask, is our topic today. And to those people that ask such a question, I say, why don't you read the video title before you click play? Just a simple question. But for those of you that didn't, we're going to be playing Bejeweled, but not any old Bejeweled. We're going to be playing my favorite minigame, one like none other, Diamond Mine. Bejeweled Diamond Mine. It's where the real pros are at. So I'm going to be casting a few of the games I've had submitted and a few of the games I've found around the place. But before we do that, we're first going to go back to our first topic, which was Minesweeper, because I missed out a few things I wanted to talk about, like the Windows 8 version of Minesweeper. And I did have a submission of someone playing, so we'll get into that and see what they can do to improve, and then we'll jump right back into Bejeweled Diamond Mine. So get pumped, because you're about to get schooled. Alright, let's jump right in. So, I found out about the Windows 8 remake version of Minesweeper, which for the most part is just the same thing with better graphics and noises and colors and things. But the developers did create this mode that you're seeing right here, which is kind of like campaign mode, or adventure I think it's called, where you have to try and reach a door at the end of, I think you're in a cave with you playing as an Indiana Jones-like character, and you have to find coins and things. Let's go a bit further. So there's like little coins and keys and things hidden under the dirt that you're digging through and stuff like that. And it really just looks like an attempt to get people more excited about Minesweeper, which I don't understand, because really Minesweeper is one of the most exciting games already. So why would you need to try and improve on it or make it any better? It's kind of stupid. It's like all those times perfect movies are made into remakes, not remake, either re-released or have a sequel or something that just completely ruins them and everyone just gets annoyed. And this is sort of the same deal. You play this game and you're just like, why wouldn't I just play normal Minesweeper? I don't understand. And another thing I noticed about this game, and let me find the clip. I recorded this on my shitty phone, so bear with me. This is me. They programmed in little things like, if you click on something you can't dig into, your character just looks up at you and gives you this face of like, what the hell are you doing? What is this stupid shit that you're clicking on? Look at, you can't really see his face because my phone is terrible, but he just gives you, and there's this noise of like, he looks as about, he gives me this look like my parents used to give me back in high school when I showed them my report cards, you know? What the hell is this? What the hell is this? And then there's some stuff that I don't really know how to feel about, and actually I do know how to feel about them. I'm freaking outraged. See, things like this start coming up onto your screen in the new Minesweeper, because they've managed to somehow, like every other game, commercialize it. So look, upgrade to Minesweeper Premium. What, like, there's no advertising on it. Well, good. Well, that's great. there are more coins for completing daily challenges, and you get a boost in adventure. I don't know what a boost in adventure is, but I don't know why you'd need it. And then there are achievements, which are interesting, but I couldn't find an actual list of achievements that existed throughout the game. And I saw this one on the internet, someone posted it, where they won a game on Minesweeper where they had the phone facing the ground throughout the whole game. They were actually playing in bed with their tablet above their head while they played Minesweeper, and they unlocked Swept the Ceiling achievement, which is kind of cool, except what other achievements are hidden in this? Like, no one knows what the achievements are. There's no list anywhere. You basically have to just see what you can get. I mean, is there one for drop your tablet on the ground really hard while playing Minesweeper because you blew up on the very last tile, and you unlock the achievement, Rageaholic or something like that? Who knows? No one knows. So yeah, just keep an eye on the Windows 8 version. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of silly. What are you going to do? So now we're going to go into the game submission that I've received for Minesweeper, and it's my friend. I'm going to call him Meerkat. And from the very first click, maybe you guys spotted it, maybe you didn't, I can tell that he's a bit of a noob. And this is me going back frame by frame. That right there, can you see it? That little X in the corner? That right there is an animation, and any serious Minesweeper player should turn the animations off. And even some of the other fancy things like question marks and sound effects, all of them are unnecessary. Because there's only one thing to Minesweeper. There's only one real rule, and that is don't blow up any mines. However you want to do that, it's fine. As long as you don't blow up any mines, you're good. So if you're using the middle click trick and it's giving you little X's and little noises to tell you, oh, you're doing something wrong, turn that shit off. It's unnecessary and it makes you look like a noob. There's a pro tip for you. So we're moving right along. The Meerkat is doing quite well. Just slow and steadily moving along. He's trying to incorporate the middle click trick into his gameplay. He's obviously not very confident with it yet. He obviously isn't using it all the time, or is using it very slowly, but he's doing good work, and he's gone well past the 50%, 60% mark even, which means the pressure is now a little bit harder. And that brings me to this bit, which I'm going to pause on. Now, I'm just going to go back a little so you can see what the Meerkat might be thinking at this point. He gets to this point. Now, notice how many options he has up here. There's clear options that he can take, but the Meerkat is different. He takes a look around and then decides, you know what? This is it. That's the spot. That's the one. And he's right. He takes the risk, he takes the gamble, and he guesses. There was absolutely no need to guess, but he takes the guess anyway. This situation is, in real life, this is like the Meerkat being out and about with his friends on a night out, and they reach a really busy highway where cars are speeding up and down the road at like 100k per hour, no gaps, like a 6-lane highway, and all the friends sort of look at it and go, ah, shit, we're never going to make it across this. And then one friend goes, oh, hey, look over there, about 2 meters away. There's an underpass. We can all just take the underpass and, get across the road safely, taking no risk. And the Meerkat says, look guys, we could do that. We could go over here and, reveal the rest of the map. But no, I'm a blade man. I'm a risk taker. I do things my own way. And he stays and he tries to run across that road. And by pure dumb luck, this time, the Meerkat makes it across that road. So, we can tell already. The meerkat is a blade man. You better watch yourself around the meerkat. He's got balls of steel. So, moving right along, the meerkat just sort of makes his way through the level, still middle clicking, improving with his middle clicking skills. Right now I can see no X's because he's not double clicking or anything. He's just slowly working out what to do, using his brain a little. And then he gets, I think it's this point, gets to this point, and this is where he starts to lose steam. And I think he loses some focus. I think he's come to a spot, because he doesn't look like he's played much Minesweeper, that he does not recognize, and the answer to most people will be as clear as day at this point, where to click, what to do, but MCAT just takes another guess, comes across the second highway, and it's even bigger and faster than the other one, and puts one foot onto the road, and a truck just hits him. So, good work. Thanks for the submission. You're going pretty well, but what you need to do is stop taking needless risks. Take a minute, take a breath, and just look for the way out. Okie dokie. Okay, so this is the last piece of Minesweeper business for the day. Basically, it's a correction to my last video. A friend of mine who is a massive nerd told me that I'd made a mistake here in my last video at this point, which was basically that this opening was the worst opening ever and there were no safe bets. I was wrong. You can figure out a few safe moves if you sort of do some process of elimination up here. I won't go into it now because I'm a bit stretched for time, but if you really want to know, I can explain it to you. Hopefully I have appeased all the nerds who were just disgusted and horrified by my error. And now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's move right along into Bejeweled. Yes, finally. Alright. So, what I'm going to start with is simply trying to explain why I like Bejeweled as a game, because a lot of people ask me that. They say, why do you like Bejeweled so much? There are so many other games around the place similar to Bejeweled. What makes Bejeweled different? And also, why Diamond Mine? Why is Diamond Mine special? Why not just play Bejeweled Classic? So what I'm showing you here is Bejeweled Classic, and I'm trying to illustrate to you the difference in gameplay, firstly, between Classic and what we will soon see will be Diamond Mine. And Classic basically is very slow. You don't have a time limit. You simply have to make enough points without removing all your options from the board. And some people can do that very well, as long as you can find power-ups to make. You try and save them for a rainy day. So you, in Classic, you try and save this cube as long as possible and then use it when you've got really no other options left. A lot of people advocate for focusing on the top first, and then once you've run out of moves at the top, then using the bottom. Whereas Diamond Mine is almost upside down in that sense. You have to focus on the bottom and not the top. So there are a lot of things that a good Classic player will not be able to use in a Diamond Mine game. Basically what I'm saying is you might reach really high levels in Classic or another mini game, or you might finish Candy Crush Saga and then try your hand at Bejeweled Diamond Mine, and you may be absolutely terrible. As to why Bejeweled in itself, I just mentioned another game, Candy Crush, and why I like Bejeweled a lot more than most other match the blocks or gems or whatever they've chosen games is basically something I could never put my finger on for a long time. It was something I liked about the programming, something I liked about the way in which the blocks moved, and how the power-ups synced together, and it was really something I could not explain until this video, which, let's just find it, this video, and I'm just going to stop it, because what you're about to see, I'm just going to give you a warning, what you're about to see is going to be incredibly mind-blowing for most players, especially those that have played Bejeweled before, but this is one of the videos that showed me that Bejeweled had an element of skill in it, not just dumb luck or speed, just randomly clicking around till you just reached a high level. There was more to it than that. So watch carefully. That right there was a star gem. Let's see that again in slow motion. The video sort of gives you a tutorial, so you can find this if you look hard enough on YouTube. It says move 1 out and move 2 in. So he moves 1, wait for it, out, 2 in. That made no sense, and I've tried to do this on my own a lot, and it's really hard to do. But if you can manage it, you can pull off making almost any power-up from almost any situation just from how the blocks move, because the blocks sort of have their own movements which you can manipulate. And this is just the last example of it. I'll show you. There's a whole video with about like 15 minutes or something of content of this guy just making gems out of nowhere, like some kind of magician. But I'm gonna just warn you on this one, because this one is even more amazing than the previous one. So, you know, if you are prone to heart problems or something, just be careful, maybe look away. Some of you might be feeling a bit lighter after watching this. Don't worry, don't panic, that's probably just because you shat a brick and lost that much weight. So here we go. Ready for it, ready for it, wait for it, wait for it, and... Ooh, bit of a development. What's he? Hypercube. Just created a hypercube out of thin air. So you reach that level of skill and you can create a hypercube out of thin air. That is the skill element to Bejeweled that you really can't apply to other games, to other match 4 blocks or candies or whatever games. That is the skill element to it, and that's what makes Bejeweled the greatest. So our introductory game is iPhone Guy, and we're about to watch what I think is one of the best openings I've seen in a while. I just am about to warn you, there's a lot of explosions and gems about to happen. So really nothing to do with this guy's level of skill. In fact, I think this guy's pretty average, but a lot of gems have been created for him, including a supernova gem, and then suddenly they're all taken away, and you know, you might call that good luck, because you got given that kind of opportunity. Some people might call that bad luck, because that whole supernova gem was wasted right at the beginning of the game. I don't subscribe to the idea that there's luck in Bejeweled. Instead, I like to think of it as just above this line, a little Bejeweled gods who decide on what gems to pass down to you, and whether you're going to have a good or bad time, how hard things are going to get for you. And I believe that, honestly believe that any situation that is thrown upon you by the Bejeweled gods is possible. You can get through it as long as you have the right skills and determination and that kind of thing. So watching this guy, I've noticed, firstly, he's quite slow and he plays quite top heavy, at least at this point in the game. He makes a lot of moves that are up here and not down here. And this leads me to believe that he's probably a very new Diamond Mine player, probably just migrated down from Classic, because classic players like to just find moves wherever they go. Whereas in Diamond Mine, you really need to focus at the bottom of the screen, not the top of the screen. Like I said just before, he doesn't seem to be very quick in his movements, not very fast. And this is something I really want to see in more games, not just Bejeweled, in games in general. I just want to see more stats or more capabilities for people to see their own stats to improve their game and compare with others. Something like an APM in Bejeweled, an actions per minute like in StarCraft, so you can tell how fast a player is playing, how many moves is a player making. Perhaps in Diamond Mine, how much ground is destroyed, Earth is destroyed in a single move, how many gems are destroyed in a single move, maybe a mixture of both. All of these stats would be great. What's your average of these? What's your best? And that would quantitatively be able to show you, are you a good player? Someone else might have better stats than you. And it will also show you specifically where you need to improve. If your APM is low, you need to improve on your speed. If your ground cleared stats are low, maybe you need to focus on looking down more, that kind of thing. I'd love to see that. But for some reason, developers don't add these features to games like Bejeweled, and I have no idea why. It's almost like they don't take Bejeweled as seriously as I do. And with that being said, I'd like to point out another error in this guy's game, another average thing this guy does, which I really don't like. And OCD players will be with me on this one. People that are OCD about their gaming, it's the fact that this person does not have the vision, does not have the sight to see what the best move could be or is on the map. Not the right move, because the right move could be something up here that creates a huge chain of events that does something amazing. But the best move to me, for instance, in this pause bit, is here, and creating a star gem. It would help clear some of this, and the star gem potentially could help clear a lot more ground. But iPhone guy makes a terrible decision and completely ignores it, comes up here and makes another terrible decision. Watch this corner. He has the opportunity to create, there's a fiver, create a hypercube, and misses it. And normally I'd be a lot more forgiving of players who miss things like that, because, you know, in the heat of the moment, you're under pressure while playing this game. You might just miss it. But this person is really bad at this. He misses the star gem again and only makes a flame gem. I think that's what it's called. All of that shows me that this player doesn't have the vision, cannot see where the best moves are. You really need to be able to see where the best moves are. So this is essentially what brings this person down. His lack of speed and not being able to see where good moves are, and create more opportunities for himself. So we're just going to skip ahead, just see how he loses. Basically, he comes to this point, he's got 14 seconds left. He can't really see any good moves. I, for example, would come here and clear a bit of ground. At this point, all is lost, but he fought well. And yeah, pretty good game. Alright, so our next game is we're going to call Average Joe, and that's because he's quite average compared to some of the games we're going to see coming up, but he's still better than the game we just watched, and that's because I think Average Joe has a little bit more experience with Diamond Mine than the last player did. I think the last player was more of a classicer, coming up, just unlocked Diamond Mine and was just seeing what the deal was, and really just hadn't developed the right skill set that you need to be good at Diamond Mine. I'm not saying Average Joe is good at Diamond Mine, but he's better than the last player. So let's... But wait, before we get into that, we have to address the rather big elephant in the room, and that is what is going on with this setup. Basically, why is this tilted so strangely? And the second observation that I saw, and you might have also noticed if you had the keen eyes of an eagle, is that this person, Average Joe, is using a keyboard. He's not swiping with a mouse, he's using a keyboard, tapping away like an old DOS game to make each move. And I've watched this game a couple of times, and I've come to the conclusion that Average Joe is... he just doesn't know what a screen recorder is. I'm going to call him AJ from now on, because Average Joe just takes too long to say, and I'm incredibly lazy. So AJ, Average Joe, doesn't know what a screen recorder is, and so to make sure that he can record his game and put it on YouTube, which is where I found this game, he's decided that, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. I am going to use my phone or camera or whatever external device he's using. I'm going to use it using one hand. So he's holding a tripod or operating his camera, or he's done something so that he can't use his mouse and instead has to operate this device while also playing Bejeweled with his other hand, and that's why he's using a keyboard, because his other hand is preoccupied holding or operating a camera. Now, it's great that you're so enthusiastic, AJ, about recording your game and putting it on the internets, but maybe you should focus more on how you play first, and also finding out how people record their games before you just jump right in and do it, because this is just a ridiculous setup. It just is. It's just strange. Alright, let's get into what Average Joe is doing and why he's so average. So, the first situation we want to talk about is coming up right about now. Average Joe is obviously just clearing away quite nicely. He does find a few good moves every now and then, but he misses a lot too. And one such example we're going to see in just a sec. So Average Joe clears quite a substantial space, and pause, this is a spot. Any good player can instantly see what the right move is. It's right here. It's this one. You get a hypercube. But a great player can see the opportunity which that hypercube will then bring. That hypercube will land right here. So let's pretend there's a hypercube right here now. You made that move, there's a hypercube here right now. If you could bring this one down one, which you can by switching these two gems, you now have two hypercubes next to each other. Perfect. For those of you that don't know what two hypercubes next to each other leads to, it leads to science. It leads to exactly what you think is meant to happen when two incredibly powerful objects get too close to each other. So when you switch them, massive explosion. It's science. Just believe me, okay? I'm backed up by science. So all of that was possible in this one situation, but instead AJ just moves along. Probably didn't even realize all of that was happening. It was not on my level. And that's one of the reasons we're just going to call him Average Joe. Another thing about this game is, and I'm just fast forwarding, is that Average Joe is blessed, because the Bejeweled gods in this game really just love him. Just love him. They give it, as you saw before, they just hand him fivers and hypercubes and just great setups. They just hand it to him, and most of the time he doesn't know how to use them. So we come to this point in the game. 345k. He's doing quite well. Gets handed a star gem. That wasn't him. He was just handed a star gem, and comes to this situation. 25 seconds on the clock, and the obvious move in my eyes, and I could be wrong, is to just switch this gem in and clear this row. No worries? No worries. What AJ decides to do, though, is switch that up. Now, think about this move for a sec. Switching that up closes off any chance of using the star gem, right? There's no way of using this star gem anymore. What a stupid move. Wrong! The Bejeweled gods hand Paul a purple gem and give him the explosion that will power him through for quite a few more levels. Damn you, Bejeweled gods, because you are showing this person that it's okay to be average, and it's not. It's not. You have to get better. You have to keep going. You have to keep trying. But no. AJ just gets things handed to him. And there's another example of that coming up right now. Again, look at the time. 15 seconds. AJ, average Joe, is quite average. So when he starts to see flashing red lights and alarm bells ringing, he starts to panic. And really, at this point is when I think AJ should have lost. But thanks to the grace of the gods, AJ gets handed, not by skill, but just by combo, the most perfect situation. Look, gets handed a fiver, which he notices. Good. So switches that in. 3 seconds on the clock. Has to clear this out. What do the Bejeweled gods do? They give him a fiver. Then they put it in a spot where he cannot make a wrong decision. He goes for the white gem. He clears the level. He goes for the purple gem. He clears the level. It's literally set up for him. And he takes the shot, gets the clearance. Good work, buddy. But actually, you did nothing just then. It's just the Bejeweled gods smiling down proudly at your average ways, average Joe. Okay, now we're going to talk about this brick for a sec, because this is the objective point. This is the brick that separates the good players from the average players, like average Joe. Just watch this. Watch this for a sec. Average Joe, once again, saved from near death. 6 seconds on the clock. Gets handed a hypercube and quite a few gems all next to each other and pulls through another miraculous win. But what I was saying before is this is the mark that I believe, it's around the 350 mark appears in computer and I think a bit earlier on iPad. This is the stumbling block. I literally call it the stumbling block because this is where most average players die. They might be able to clear it, this block, but they spend so much time freaking out about it that they forget that they have to clear the rest of this and fail at this point. And so a lot of games I just skip to around here and see whether they get past it, because that tells me whether they're good or not. And so we are about to see whether average Joe can make it past this stumbling block. He does manage to clear it. Good work. He's got 5 seconds on the clock. The Bejeweled gods are smiling down upon him. He's actually got quite a few options right now, but not in time. And that's the end of that. Really, what went wrong for average Joe was nothing, because he actually got further than he really should have. But in terms of improvement, what average Joe needs to do is work on speeding up his play and spotting good moves, really good moves, and not relying on the Bejeweled gods to hand them down to him. Alright, now we're going to look at a play style which I personally find very hard to do. It's not my preferred way of playing, but it is incredibly, what's the term? It is just, it's useful. It's a really, if you can master this kind of play, it's a really good asset to have in your arsenal, but it shouldn't be the only asset you have in your arsenal. And what I like to call this kind of play, and this person is very good at it, and I'm going to call them that, is the grinder. It's grinding. Similar to like in Pokemon or in any other game where you just run around and verse things in the wild or really weak enemies to gain a level. Grinding is similar in Bejeweled, where you try and just make as many matches as you can. Doesn't have to be the best match, just as fast as you can, so that you can clear as much as you can, as like with a lot of speed. And then most grinders in Bejeweled keep going after they've reached the level clear point and try and aim for an all clear as well, because they just play fast enough. So the key tenets of grinding is play fast, and just keep making moves and try and get an all clear. And I personally am very bad at this. Like I said before, I'm more of a strategist. I like to think about the moves I make and try and get the best moves, or make the move that clears the most ground or creates the biggest explosion. I don't like to just click incredibly erratically, in the hopes of clicking in the right places and as fast enough to do that. But grinding works. At least if you do it like this, if you do it consistently, it is exhausting to do. But if you can, grinding works great, and it also leads to all clears like this one. And why are all clears important? Well, here's another example. I've just skipped through quickly into this game at the 780,000 points mark. This person is so good at grinding, and look, getting an all clear at this stage in the game, which I'd call mid to late game, is for people like me almost impossible. Unless I have a lot of really good gems open to me, I just forget about trying to get all clears at this stage in the game. But grinders never give up. They never surrender. They take a leaf out of Day 9's book, and they get that all clear. And that to me is amazing. I'm just going to skip right to the end of this game because it illustrates what the problems with grinding is. Notice back here with that all clear that it really put a lot of time on the map. Now that they've reached that all clear, they've almost got 3 minutes per level to play with. But towards end game, when things start heating up a little, and here we see they've gone past the 1 million mark, which is the next stumbling block. The 1 million score, a lot of people find hard to reach, but this grinder powers right through, and I think is trying to get to the 2 million mark. And here is where we see what the downfalls of grinding are. Now, as I said before, the all clear does get you a lot of additional time, but towards the end game, when it starts getting harder and harder, grinding actually takes up a lot more time than it gives. For instance, here, a lot of time is wasted. This 10 seconds could have just been left alone to start the next bit, but the grinder uses it all up, goes down to 0, just attempting to get the all clear, and is left with 30 seconds at this point to clear all of this. And to be fair, the grinder handles it very well. The grinder is one of those people that, under pressure, doesn't panics in a different way. He still panics, but he panics by playing even faster, more erratically, but even faster. And that's what the grinder's doing, just going for his life at the moment. And he actually gets very close to clearing this stage. As we can see, all he has to do is get rid of this. He's even got an explosion gem waiting. Oh, that was a rough time. Absolutely terrible. For games like that, when you lose so close to having the right move. In fact, there's a move right there that would have also cleared the level. When you lose that badly, sometimes you really need some emotional support to get through a rough beat like that. And for that, I recommend some good old-fashioned breakup songs. Just off the top of my head, breakup songs that are really great to listen to, especially to get emotionally over a bad Bejeweled game, is anything by Maroon 5. That song Apologize by One Republic, and Bass Hunter or Bass Hunter or whatever you want to call them. They do some really emotionally heavy stuff. All I Ever Wanted is one of those songs that really just gets me every time. So Arty Gamecasting, we look out for your mental health as well. Make sure you calm down after a really bad beat by listening to some of these really great songs. So yeah. Alright, so I think, oh wow, okay, so this is going to be our last game because this episode has actually gone over time by a lot, and I've been talking for a long time. I actually had a few more games lined up to show you, but maybe we'll put that in a future episode. We'll come back to Bejeweled sometime, and yeah, we'll do another episode for Bejeweled because it's just that great. But for now, this will be our last game. It cannot be healthy for you to be listening to me for this long. There's probably some kind of human rights violation occurring. Your ears are probably bleeding from listening to me for so long. And so, in the name of safety, we're going to stop after this game. But this game is basically, and if I hope you're watching this person play, because as you can see, they're not playing very fast or anything like that. They're playing at a pretty slow and steady pace, and pretty calmly as well. There doesn't seem to be very much panic or anything, and they do this consistently throughout the whole game and manage to get an incredibly high score, basically without seeming to do very much at all. And it's not the Bejeweled Gods or anything. It's quite an average setup. Like, he's not being handed that many opportunities from above. It's just the fact that there is something going on here that is beyond explanation. It is just a maturity in diamond mining that I hope one day I will have. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this game is like the Ferris Bueller of Bejeweled. This person is... If Ferris Bueller didn't take a day off and sat at home and played Bejeweled Diamond Mine, this game is what you would get. And I'm just going to continue skipping through this game because it's actually... Did I already mention it's an hour long or more? Okay, spoiler warning. If you haven't seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, stop watching this right now. It's a great movie. Go watch it and come back after you've done that. You have been warned. So basically, like I was saying, in the movie, this would be around the time when Ferris is getting his girlfriend out of school to join him and his best friend on his magical day off. This part might be... I think this here is probably the art gallery, where they look into the depths of pictures. And really, what I think is happening here, because it's really hard to catch what's going on. Much like Ferris says in the movie, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might just miss it. And I think the first couple of times I skipped through this game, I sort of missed what was going on, because it's really not easy to see. I think this person is like Neo in the Matrix, and I know I'm mixing up movies now, but when Neo can just see the code, he can just see it all around him. That person is Bejeweled Neo. All he sees is colors. What you and I see here is a small game with matches that you can make here and there. What Ferris sees in this game is simply colors and combinations beyond anything anyone but him can see. And that's why he's so confident and so slow at playing, because you can just see the matches before they happen. And you can see the combos that each move will give him. He's just on another level, and he just keeps going. So back to the Ferris Bueller thing. Let's skip ahead. Let's go to the end. He evades his principal and runs upstairs to get to his bed before his parents check up on him. He jumps into bed and realizes at that point that, oh my god, the stereo is still on and it's playing snoring noises. He'll be caught, but there's no time to get out of bed. So Ferris looks around his room for the one thing that will save his life. And that's when, and similar to this game, the gods, Bejeweled gods or fate or whatever you want to call them look down upon Ferris and they smile onto him. And Ferris, and they hand him. No, Ferris is the stakes are high for Ferris, but he's not panicking because he's confident in himself, and the gods appreciate that, and they hand him a supernova gem, or in the movie, they hand him a baseball. He sees a baseball on his bed, and he has one shot. He has to make sure that baseball hits the off button on his stereo, and he takes the shot, and the ball is going through the air. It's a slow motion. His parents are just at the door, and then, boom. Ball hits the power switch, stereo turns off, parents open the door. Ferris is sound asleep in bed. And his parents look down upon him and smile at their beautiful son. What could be anything better? And they say, "Oh, Ferris, are you feeling alright?" Ferris says, "Yes." And that right there is the all clear. At the 4.3 million mark, we have an all clear. This, if someone had told me before I had watched this game, achieving this would have been impossible. If someone had said, "Look, yes, you're on the 4 million score, get me an all clear," I would have said, impossible. No way. No one can do it. No one can clear an all clear at the 4 million mark. And that is where I'm going to end this for storyline's sake, because Ferris Bueller's Day Off all ends on a high note, but really this game continues for quite a while and ends around here at the 4.46 million mark. So that's pretty impressive stuff. So that's all, folks. Just as a treat, I'm going to end by showing you a no flag Minesweeper expert game. That was one of my challenges to viewers last week, was to play Minesweeper no flag, and this is one of the fastest games ever, apparently. The topic for the next episode is Peggle. Any version of Peggle, any level of Peggle, just submit me some Peggle, please. Or if you want to show off to me about how good your Bejeweled is these days, you can give those games to me as well. Hopefully you learned a thing or two from this latest episode. Or you can go old school, and I'm always open to Minesweeper game submissions because Minesweeper is my favorite game of all time. So thanks everyone for sitting through all of that. Have a awesome day.